And welcome back to Profile Pod TV. I'm your host, Double A, back for another spectacular episode of the pod. We have another special episode as we do every week. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a special guest standing by. Before we get to our special guest, let me go ahead and just say that, get the housekeeping items out of the way. Don't forget to subscribe to Profile Pod on YouTube. Leave me a rate and review on Apple Podcasts. Love all the feedback. Follow me on Instagram. Follow me on Twitter. All that good stuff. We are also on Social Nostra, talented network of creators and podcasters. Now available on Roku and YouTube, Instagram. We're all over the place. Go check out Social Nostra, ladies and gentlemen. So we are here, and like I say every week, man, this is a podcast that's dedicated to bringing on individuals. We're doing extraordinary things in life to inspire us all. And tonight we have no exception here to our guest. This young lady is doing big things in the acting world, in the entertainment world, and she's here to talk all about it. I can't wait to talk and to get to the bottom of what she's doing. Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, please welcome Sonia Balcazar. How are you, Sonia?
Good. How are you doing?
I am doing excellent. Thank you so much. It's Tuesday, right in the thick of the week. But here we are. I get to, I can't complain. I'm meeting with you, and I get to do this podcast and become enlightened every week. So thank you so much for taking the time, for being here with us.
Thank you. Thank you for having me on the show again. I know we did an interview in December at Chicano Hollywood's event, their December mixer, the holiday mixer. But thank you again. I really appreciate you having me on again, and I'm excited to talk to you today.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for it's all good. It's all good. I've seen you're out there right now. You're doing a lot of things. You're making appearances. You're interviewing. Your podcast. It's Sonia's world, baby, right now, moving and shaking. How are you keeping up with everything?
I think you know what? Life is really busy right now. Really busy. I tell people I have two jobs. I have my day job, which supports, my art and everything that I love to do, supports myself, pays bills. And then I have my second job, which is acting, which is another full-time job. So I'm working 2 full-time jobs every day. And so it's pretty exhausting, but I have the energy to do it because I love what I do. I love what I do for my day job. Love what I do. And I also love what I do in my acting, in my craft, my art. And so, but life is really busy. A lot is happening, but I wouldn't have it any other way because this is what I signed up for. This is what I want. This is what I'm like. I'm just focused, driven, passionate about what I want to create in life. And what I want to give. I think it's more like what I want to give to the world of myself and create. It's making me feel really good, and I get the energy in that way. But yeah, life's pretty busy lately. Yeah. A lot of interviews, podcast interviews, and everything. It's really good. Yeah.
Yeah, it's fun though too, right? I mean, I love getting out there and networking and meeting others, who are passionate and like-minded, and they're in the world of entertainment, going after what they're passionate about, and and that's good for you. It's a win-win where you truly enjoy your day job, and obviously you love your acting stuff as well, and that's a win-win, because sometimes, most of the time, from what I've seen, people are trying to get out of that that 9 to 5 because they're not happy, they don't like it, they don't. But yeah, you're
I'm just
contrary.
lucky. I mean, my the company I work for, my boss, everyone is so supportive. And I think this is something I have to say that I've manifested, because when I was first starting out, I always imagined, I wish I had a job that would support my acting career. I wish I had a job that I can just go to auditions and they would be okay with it. I wish I had a job where I could, do what I love, but support myself and pay the bills. And it was one of those things where I kind of visualized the kind of career that I wanted to support myself, but I didn't have it yet. And it took time for me to kind of go through different companies and trial and error to get to a company that kind of really supported everything that I do. From the moment I started, from the first week that I started at the company I'm at, the CEO of the company, I had a film that was premiering in the Bay Area, and the CEO of the company saw the film, poster at the theater near his house, and my photo was on the poster.
Yeah, I know her. I know her. Yeah.
And he's like, I was jogging in my neighborhood, and I think I saw your face at the theater by my house. I'm like, yeah, I have a film that's playing there right now. And he's like, really? You're an actor? I'm like, yeah. And so, I mean, since my first week there, they've just been so supportive. The founders of the company will go watch my work. I did plays in San Francisco where they would go to the opening night in Union Square and check my work out. And I feel blessed. And then my boss now, she was a former actress. So she gets it. Her husband was a filmmaker or is a filmmaker. And so she gets it. And I just feel like this position really supports everything that I love to do. So I kind of manifested this really supportive work environment. And I love, like, I told my boss just the other day, Friday, I wake up in the morning and I make my bed and I feel happy to go to work. Who can say that? I didn't say that when I was, working at other positions and other jobs. Like, I feel happy waking up, and I work from home, I work remote, but still I wake up and I'm like, I'm excited to go to work. Who's excited to go to work?
It's very rare. Yeah. Yeah. Right. Jeez, man.
Right.
But yeah, but that's cool to get to kind of,
support from, yeah. And then that allows me to do all my self-tapes after work. So once I get off work, I'll have self-tapes to do. I just kind of switch up my environment. I have my self-tape set up. Yeah. And then I start my second job, which is acting. And then I'm doing self-tapes at night, studying scripts, watching, I'll do character study. I'll watch actors that I admire and watch their work and just kind of study their acting. I'll take acting classes as well, which are in the evening, remote. I'm like, if I'm not networking or working on, like, I'm always working on the craft in the evening, always. So get off work and then I work on the craft, and then and they're really good at letting me take time off when I need to actually shoot something during the week. They're really, really good about that and supportive. So I just feel so blessed and grateful. Yeah. Oh my God. So
I was about to say, what a blessing. Yeah.
Yes. This is a life I've always wanted. Like, and I'm here. I'm living it right now.
I love it. I love it, Sonia. So you hail from Eastside San Jose, in the Bay Area. Big shout out. And you came to Los Angeles in August of 2020, and you kind of you just been, taking the LA by storm, taking the world by storm ever since then. And you did something that was so interesting. You started networking when you got down here because you didn't really know, your network wasn't as vast as obviously back home. Yeah. So you came here and you had to kind of get on the ball. Share with us how you kind of started that whole process of networking on social media, and give us the insight on that, because I would love to know more about that, for my own sake as an actor, and just networking in general. Give us some of your keys to success there.
Yeah, well, I studied marketing in college. I studied marketing management. So I do have a business degree. And I take a lot, and thank you to my dad, by the way. I have to say that, because if he didn't make me choose a practical subject to major in, I would have just majored in acting. And so his thing was, no, mija, I'm not going to pay for you to go to college. I work hard. I'm not going to pay for you to go to college if you're going to do something that you're going to be a starving artist when you try to get work. He's like, I don't want that for you. So choose something practical to major in, get a job where you can support yourself and fall back on. He's like, I know you want to act, but get a job where you can fall back on, and then you can act, because you're still going to need to support yourself in some way. So Thank you, Dad. Again, I thank him all the time, but thank you, Dad, for talking me into that, because, as a teenager, I was like, no, I want to do what I want.
Yeah, right.
Really
We know everything when we're
was,
teenagers, right?
I thought I knew everything, but
Yeah.
Dad was right. Looking back in hindsight, like, thank you, Dad, so much for being so like clear-minded, and you knew exactly what I needed. And now I'm exactly in the place that I need to be and doing what I need to do because of my dad. So thank you, Dad. And Mom, supportive. But
Of course.
so when I moved out here, I've been acting professionally since 2009, right? So that's some time, but I've been in the Bay Area. So all my acting network with directors and filmmakers are all casting directors. They're all in the Bay Area. And out there's a lot of industrial and a lot of commercials, but not a lot of film and TV. There's some, and I've been on shows and films, but they're not big and there's not a lot. So it was really difficult to get ahead in my acting career if I would have stayed in the Bay Area. And so I knew that I needed to get out here to actually make some more progress in my acting career, because I was good in my my day job, my career that pays the bills. That was good, but now I needed to focus on developing my acting career and taking myself out of that plateau. So when I moved out here, it was during COVID, so August 2020. That's when my lease ended over there. I moved out here. I didn't know anybody. Like, I have family out here, but it was all quarantine, so nobody was really seeing each other, and like I couldn't go meet people and like network with people or anything. Nothing was open. I couldn't even get a haircut.
Right, exactly.
And so I thought, well, let me use this time to network. Let me use this time to build relationships with people out here in SoCal, in LA, in this industry, because nobody knows who I am. Nobody knows my name. Nobody's seen my work. And so I knew I had a lot to do, because I had years to develop my network in San Francisco, and that took a long time.
Yeah.
So I'm like, what am I going to do now that I'm here in LA? And I want to continue my acting career, but I want to kind of take it like to the next level. I have to network and I have to develop these relationships with people, and I have to get my brand, my name out there, because again, they don't know my work, and they can't say, oh yeah, I've worked with her before. I know somebody that's worked with her before. Nobody's going to vouch for me in that way. In the Bay Area, yeah, people will refer me to things all the time because they know who I am. So I got here and I was very strategic about it. I'm like, okay, so I'm going to set my alarm on my cell phone for 30 minutes or 30 to 60 minutes, depending on how much time I had after I got off work. And I would focus on networking through social media. So on IG, I would go through hashtags that said like filmmaker or Los Angeles filmmaker or, actor or producer, casting directors. I would look at the hashtags and I'd go to the accounts of all of those hashtags. And then I would look at their work and I'd find casting directors, I'd find filmmakers, directors, writers. I would follow their work, but it's important to know that you can't just follow their page and like their stuff. Like, you actually have to engage with them, watch their work, support their work, look at the type of the things that they're creating. And then I started to understand, like, okay, I have a lot of filmmakers that I'm starting to follow that I really like their work. I respect it. And then I want to work with these people one day. So I started following them, watching their work, reaching out, contacting them, supporting their work. And I did that religiously. Like, that habit was set every single day. I would do that, like set my alarm off my day job. I start my networking and I go on IG and everything and just start networking that way. And that hours and hours and hours during COVID, doing that every single day. And on the weekend, it would be longer because I had more time. And next thing you know, I had directors, writers, filmmakers reaching out to me. But the first one, and I'll always mention this, is David Manzanales from Four Ways Entertainment, because he was the first one out of all the networking that I did when I came out here. He was the first one that reached out to me, and I had already watched Slipping into Darkness. I already watched their HBO film, and I, was following Alex and John and everything, all of them. And I was like, I really want to work with these guys. And somehow, and I didn't tell him that, like, I didn't tell David that, but I was watching and supporting his work. And then he reached out, he DM'd and he's like, I'd like you to audition for a film that we're doing. I'm like, oh my God, this is
Wow.
happening.
That's awesome.
Like, so
Was,
he was like the first like result of all the networking that I did. And then, you know, I was blessed to be cast, and I auditioned for a few things before I actually got cast in something with them. So it wasn't like the first thing, it was like the third thing I think that I auditioned for with them. But I
okay.
eventually got cast in one of their films, which is In Broad Daylight.
There it is.
Which is right now, it's in the film festival circuit. It won 3 awards at the official Latino Film Festival.
Right.
It was voted
Best
best
actor,
drama
best drama,
and
audience award.
audience award. And then Steve Villegas got best actor, best
Mm.
male actor in that film. So, I mean,
Wow, that's
how
amazing.
blessed do I feel to be a part of that, right? From just, I've only been here since August 2020.
Exactly.
So, you know, the networking worked out. I feel like that strategy and those habits that I set for myself really helped get me to where I'm at now. And then now all of, you know, through 4 ways and all of the people I met there, but also all the other networking that I've done has really given me a lot of opportunity. And it's not easy in this industry. You have to, you know, build a name for yourself. You have to market yourself. And just doing that and in combining all of those things, but also building good relationships. Like if I build a relationship with someone, a filmmaker, or with you, I'm going to keep that relationship going, and then, you know, follow up, nurture, and just like keep in touch, right? You can't just, you know, reach out and like not hear from somebody. You got to keep in touch, watch their work, promote it, share it. And I feel strongly about promoting people's work as well, like celebrating people's wins, right? I think if I give that to the world, then the world is going to return it to me in abundance. Not from the, like, I don't give to receive. Like, I don't give something to someone and expect that person to give it back to me. That's not how I work. It's more like if I give it in the world and I come from a good heart, then the world and the universe and the creator is going to return to me blessings to me from other people in other ways.
You're putting out the positive vibration, positive frequency. It goes both ways. If you put out a negative, well, to the flip, you know, the flip side, you're going to attract that negativity back, right? So, yeah, I totally get it where you're coming from. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And you're coming from the heart too. And
Yes.
yeah. So I think this is key, Sonia, because networking is some people don't know where to start. You know, how do they do it? You know, what can, you know, these are great tips, great information, great insight for others, including myself, you know. So, seriously, where, you know, not just for, you know, in the entertainment business or acting per se, you know, it could be any industry, really. You know, if you want to network and, you know, gosh, if you sell, I don't know, you know, cat litter or something, you know, you got to get into that business.
You got to develop relationship for Kelly. Yeah.
You got to find the people. You got to go and put in the effort, put in the work.
Right? I
Right?
think my first job when I graduated college, I was in sales. I was in outside sales. Outside sales, it's hard. Like you're knocking on doors, you're driving to places nobody knows who you are. You're picking up the phone and cold calling people that are hanging up on you. Like that's how I started. So I developed thick skin and that persistence through sales, through outside sales. And I did that for a while I was paying for myself to go back to school for acting. But that'll like people hanging up on you, people shutting the doors on you in your face. Like that was really my true test, because I went through that before I went through this acting thing where you get a lot of no's before you get a yes. And so I felt like, oh, I got this because I've been doing this. I know how this feels. And you just keep going. You don't take it personal. You just keep going. It's a numbers game. It was same for sales. It was a numbers game. So the more calls you made, the more people you called on, the more, you know, relationships you built, like the better chances you got of selling. And then for me, same with acting, the more auditions I go on, it's just a numbers game. So keep the craft going, be good at what you do.
Of course.
But also it's a numbers game. So you just keep going. And then, you know, after audition, after audition, after audition, you're going to get a role. It just takes, you just be persistent and not give up and keep driving and don't take it personal. Don't ever take it personal. Yeah.
You know, Sonia, you bring up a great point, you know, because a few great points for me personally. I my first job out of college was pounding the pavement and selling water filters, you know, door to door, businesses. And which leads me to this, and I want to get into all your I want to your projects, you know, King of Downey and Broad Daylight. But before we do that, I want to kind of touch on something that you mentioned in another interview recently, and you talked about how you are naturally introverted.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, and you hit home because I'm naturally introverted myself, you know, and I thought like, and you also said this, you said that you know, I was the one, I was that person that always kind of stayed back and observed human behavior. And I was like, damn, that's me. I was like, yeah, that's exactly, I've always, and to this day. And you said, I notice how my uncle sits down in a chair, or how my mom drinks her coffee, or how she holds a cup, or little intricate things like that. And that's exactly how I am. You know, I notice those little things in people and in general. But I wanted to ask you, you know, being naturally introverted, what was something that you did to kind of help you counteract that introverted, you know, your introverted personality?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm still an introvert to this day.
Yeah.
And
Me too. Me too.
Right. And I mean, what it is, and I think it's understanding self. So, you know, through life experiences, you understand who you are, you go through pains, trials, tribulations, and then you learn from them. And for me, I'm a lifelong learner. I'm a lifelong learner. So I know that I'm always going to learn and grow from people who are in positions that I want to be in. I'm going to learn and grow from them. So I'm always willing to take feedback and grow and come from a mindset of like, I don't know everything, and I want to continue to be learning till the day I die. But I learned that an introvert doesn't mean, and I thought I was shy growing up, really shy, like debilitating shy.
Yeah.
I wouldn't even go outside. Like, I'll give you an example.
I wasn't that shy.
When I was a kid, this is a funny story. I don't think I've talked about this one yet, ever on an interview yet, but I don't think I have. But when I was a kid, like little, like, I don't know, I must have been like 4 years old. We had moved to a new house, new neighborhood. And I was used to my friends from the old neighborhood. We moved to a new neighborhood, and I didn't know the kids in the neighborhood. And so I want to say I was 4. And my sister, she's an extrovert. She's like social butterfly. She talks to everybody. She's funny. You know, she's Miss Personality. And so when we went to the new house, like, I was so shy. I didn't want to go outside and play with the kids in the neighborhood because I didn't know them. And I was like shy. And so I would stay in the room, and like, I'd play by myself in the room. I'd listen to music. I'd dance. I'd read. Not read. But yeah, I would read. No, not yet. But like, I would just create and do stuff on my own in the room. And then one day in the summer, I decided, okay, I'm going to go outside and play with my sister and the neighbors, right? And I didn't know anybody. So I go, and we had already lived there for a while.
Wow.
I go outside, and, you know, all the kids are playing out in the neighborhood. And then I see my sister, and I go out, and I'm like, I go near my sister, and they're all playing something, I don't know what. And then all the kids in the neighborhood were like, what's that? And then my sister's like, that's my sister. And then they're like, you have a sister? And she's like, yeah, dummy. Like, yeah, that's my sister. You didn't know I had a sister? So my sister's like, she didn't even realize that I didn't even come out of the house. Like, she didn't realize it because she thought, oh, everybody knows my sister because we've been living here for a while. Like, why wouldn't you know her? But the truth is, I didn't go outside.
Yeah.
So nobody knew who I was. And so,
oh my
like,
goodness.
that's how like shy I was.
Yeah.
I was afraid. But my sister always had my back. She was always like the one to like, you know, like, she's a social butterfly. So she would just like break me out of my shell somehow.
Older sister, probably?
Older sister, yeah. Older sister, the rebel of the family. Yeah. I love her spirit.
There's always that one, right?
Yes, yes. And so, but an introvert is someone who their energy gets drained by, their battery gets drained by being social and with people. And when an introvert is alone, when they're alone, they recharge their battery. And so this makes sense to me because I can go and be social out and socialize and, happy smile and everything with family, friends, everything. But after that, you need to leave me alone. I'm gonna go in my room. I'm gonna be by myself.
Yes.
Don't talk to me. I'm not in a good mood. Just let me reset. Let me recharge my battery. And that's what an introvert is, right? Is that what you feel?
I'm laughing because that's exactly, you're hitting it all on the head. It's just the down, the checklist is just check, check, check. Yeah, no, I'm tired after like a social event now. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And you just have to recharge, right?
Right. And exactly. How do I recharge? I just kind of stick to myself. I love being by myself. I enjoy being, and I used to think that was something was wrong with me back in the day, growing up.
Really?
Yeah. I used to like, and so, but yeah, I realized like, no, hey man, that's how God made me, and that's just me. That's my makeup, and that's just that's who I am, and I embrace it now, and I love it. But yeah, no, it's interesting how you mentioned that.
But to break out of it, honestly,
yes.
like because I was shy growing up, like, and it's almost like I grew up in the same neighborhood. I grew up in Eastside San Jose, so all my friends that I grew up with from kindergarten on, like I knew all of them, so they knew me. Okay. It wasn't like I had to, they just knew who I was. So it wasn't like I had to prove who I was to anybody. So it wasn't a problem being shy growing up. And so not until I got to junior high, I mentioned this before in some interviews where I did this, a teacher encouraged me to do this speech thing, a speech contest. And so I did this speech contest where we wrote a speech, and it was about what you want to be when you grow up. And, I wanted to be, at that time, I wanted to be a pediatrician because I love kids. And I wanted to somehow be able to help children. And I wanted to be a doctor. I wanted to be, and my parents were really good. My dad was really good at like, you could do anything you want in life, Miha, like just dream big. And so I was like, I want to be a doctor. I want to be a pediatrician. And so I wrote this speech about being a pediatrician, but later I realized I couldn't be a pediatrician because I can't stand the sight of blood.
Yeah.
If I see blood, I get faint, and I will almost likely faint. And so I realized I can't be a doctor if I can't see blood.
That one's tough. That's a tough one right there. That's tough.
But anyways, I wrote the speech about wanting to be a pediatrician and why, and who my inspiration was and all that. And I'm 12 at the time. And so we do it in class, and then like, I guess I got nominated to do it in front of the school, and I do it in front of the school. Oh. And then they voted for who did it in front of the school to go on to like the district. So then I went up to the district, and I'm like, where, like, they were like, oh, you got to be here at this time. And I'm like, what? Who? And then teachers would like drive me to the different places I need to be to say the speech. I'm like, all I'm doing is reciting the speech that I wrote and I memorized. And I'm like, and for some reason, I'm really good at it. And everybody, I guess, likes my speech. So, that's when I realized if I can rehearse something and prepare to perform it, then that's my groove. Like I get into my groove. Like that's my art, like creating. And I had always wanted to be an actor even before that, but that kind of pieced it together where like, hey, I'm shy, but I have a platform to perform my art and be an actor through this channel. Yeah. And, later on getting into plays, in school plays, I'm like, okay, I have a script. I can read it, rehearse it, memorize it, and then perform it in front of hundreds of people. And I have no problem doing that. But let me get ready. Let me rehearse.
Exactly.
And that allowed me to break out of my shell big time. Like without that, I don't know if I would have had the courage. I don't know. I mean, I probably would have found some other way, but that was really what catapulted me to say, I can do this. And not only I can do this, I'm good at it. So yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah. I even that with my growing up, getting in front of a crowd or a class, or it was just petrifying for me, just mortifying. It's just, yeah, it really was, and even in college, and in college you got a little better, but I think you mentioned earlier, you go through life, and life is such a great teacher, right? Life experience, and you learn to, you get that. For me, it was just basically, I was like, no, you know what? I'm gonna ante up. and I'm going to conquer some of these little some of the I'm going to conquer some of these flaws or my personal and the way I saw it was a flaw for me.
Well, it's just an area to develop. That's all. It's
Yeah,
not a
that's it.
flaw.
That's what that is.
It's
You're
just
right.
something you need to develop in yourself, like a skill you need to develop.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah. I need to polish this area of my life, of myself, right?
Right.
And refine it. And that's I was like, you know what? I'm gonna take the challenge and I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do this. And
Yeah.
you know, through life again, you know, you build the confidence and you dig deep and you conquer those things. And
What
but
did you study in school?
I have a degree in communications.
Oh my
Uh,
God, that's
yeah,
perfect.
I know, right?
You're in communications. This is great.
Exactly.
That's
Go
great.
figure, right?
Congratulations.
I'm sorry.
Congratulations. That's good. You're using exactly what you studied, right?
Yes, exactly. Thank you. Yeah, and but yeah, you know, it's introverted. You know, I feel like you know now, you know, my confidence level got just through life, through experience. It really got better, and here you know here I am podcasting, you know, and
Yeah,
but
you did.
no doubt, no doubt, yeah, but yeah, so yeah, I totally you know related with to you on that particular thing when you mentioned. I was like, oh shit, yeah, that's all me right there.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, go introverts, right?
Yes, go introverts, right? And
Yeah.
you know what's weird? Okay, let me ask you this. When did you actually realize that that's what you were? Like that's where your energy was at? Because for a long time I was thinking, when I didn't understand what an introvert was or what that meant, I just thought, why do I get so moody when I want to be left alone and people don't leave me alone? Like, I just want to be left alone. I don't want to talk to anybody. I want to be by myself. And for me, I was like, that's not normal because everybody else does the opposite. And I thought, like, what's wrong with me? Like, why do I want to be by myself all the time?
Yeah.
And then not until I got like, probably, I might have learned it when I was maybe in high school, where I learned the term. Yeah, I think it might have been a class in high school where I learned the term. And then I realized like, oh, that's why I want to be alone after I'm around people all the time. And I couldn't explain it. I'm like, dude, just leave me alone.
Yeah.
And I was like, am I just moody all the time or what?
Yeah. No, I didn't learn it.
Realize it, or how'd you figure it out?
I think it was I learned that term in I want to say in college. Probably in college. But yeah, you know, during my going through my major, you know, my upper division, and learning, you know, extrovert, introvert, what the differences are, et cetera, et cetera. And I was like, oh shit, that's me, you know, and kind of you got technical, and I was like, I think I was in college, you know, and even in college, I was still kind of, you know, really kind of to myself and shy in certain settings, a little bit better than I was in high school, but still, you know, not even now, you know, 45 years old, I think that, you know, I can walk into a room and be, you know, confident, you know, I
You
can
seem very
overcome.
confident. When I met you, I would have never guessed you were ever shy. Like you seem grounded and confident in your persona, you know?
Thank you. Hey, people always tell me, well, you're an introvert? What? Yeah. Yeah, you know, seriously, but it's funny, you know, it's like life's a trip, right? And
Yeah.
but yeah, you know, getting into your actual work, Sonia, I want to really get into in broad daylight. You're, you know, playing the role of Dora Mendez, and as we just mentioned earlier, you know, received those 3 amazing awards, and you're also playing your Marcy in
And King of Downey.
King of Downey, and you know, you're doing Dr. West's Fervor and Wish You Were Here, Monochrome, just to name a few.
Yeah. All this past year, the last 9 months.
Unbelievable. Yeah, that's well, good for you. Congratulations on everything you got going on.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Absolutely. You know, go ahead.
So I'll start with I think in Broad Daylight, right? Like I was mentioning before, with Four Ways Entertainment, David Manzanales, Alex Ferrufino, John Mercado, Steve Viegas, you know, the Four Ways guys I feel blessed to be a part of that. But also, I think what's important about Four Ways Entertainment and why I respect their work so much is because they're risk takers. I'm not even risk takers. They're just real. They're just 100% real, and they keep it real all the time.
They're not going to BS anything.
No, and they're not going to tone it down, and they're not going to fit into the mold that Hollywood or they say you need to follow this formula. No, they're going to tell the stories that they want to tell. And that's important to me. It's important to me to tell the stories that we need to share about our culture, about our people, just about stories in general that don't get told. And in Broad Daylight, it does shed light on the sheriff's department and the profiling that they may do for the people that they target and kill or shoot or hurt or whatever. And there's a lot of stories about this. There's a lot of true stories about this that are out there. Again, you don't really see them because it's a very political subject, right? Touchy subject. Yeah. And it's hard for someone to want to talk about that or show that. And even with Four Ways producing this content, they were even told, hey, are you sure you want to come out with this content? Like you're bringing something to light that people want to keep under the rug. They were like, no, we want to tell the story. And it's based off of a true story. It's based off of a story that John Mercado was able to, formulate through actual events. And so this story is not just about one, kid who gets misprofiled or purposely misprofiled and shot and killed. It's about every child who is, who has nothing to do with any wrongdoing, but gets shot and killed by law enforcement. And so there's mothers that are grieving from that. And that's the role that I play, Dora Mendez, where, I'm trying to raise a good son and I have a family and I'm a single mother in the film. And then, my good son who is, nobody's perfect, right? But we all live our lives, but he didn't do anything wrong. And he was profiled and he was chased and, shot and killed. And so Andres Guadiana, I can say his last name, is what this story is based on. It's not exactly how his happened, but it's based off of his story.
Gotcha.
And so you can look that up and there hasn't been justice, right? There's no justice. And so too many times these stories get, forgotten because they somehow got away with it. The cameras were taken and all of a sudden all the footage from everywhere that the shooting actually happened disappeared or were erased somehow. Yeah. So, there's something going on. But again, how do you tell this story to bring to light that there's humanity behind everything that happens? There's a family, there's a mom, there's a brother, there's, friends who suffer because of what happened. Yeah. And that's a very impactful story to tell. And I give props to Four Ways for telling the story. And it's really good. Steve does amazing. Steve Villegas is an amazing actor. I respect him so much. And he plays the lead role, who is struggling, the sheriff who's struggling between doing what's right and doing what his, sergeant is telling him he needs to do to fit in to the sheriff's department. So you can see his struggle in the film. If you have a chance to watch it, it's in the film festival circuit now. So look out for it. We're going to be in San Diego soon, in March. Yeah,
can't wait.
And then check it out. You have to watch that film. Props to that film. And we filmed that in June last year, June 2021.
Okay.
So I'm excited about that one too. Continue to tell that story. And as an actor, that's what I want to do. I want to continue to be a part of telling these stories. That's what makes me happy. And so I'm blessed to be a part of that. And then also I did Chicano Hollywood, Johnny Murillo. So grateful for Johnny.
Shout out to Johnny.
Yeah. Shout out to Johnny and Chicano Hollywood and the whole team in Chicano Hollywood. Eco's World, Jeff Reyes, DP in that. And, that whole crew is just amazing. Jerry Garcia plays my yeah, he plays my husband. He's a comedian.
Yeah.
I'm his wife. And we have Carissa B.
King of
Chance
Downey. We're
Falk-
talking about King of Downey, by the way. Yeah.
King of Downey, yeah. Wait, did I say that? Did
I think
yeah.
you said, yeah, you mentioned it earlier, but
Yeah. Sorry, we're talking about King of Downey.
King of Downey. Do you guys
King
shoot
of
in
Downey.
Downey actually in the city of Downey?
No.
I was just curious, man. I love little trivia.
But no, we did it. But I think we will. I'm not sure.
The Mexican Beverly Hills.
A lot of B-roll, right? Yeah, there is B-roll from Downey. So yes, they did. But the actual location was the interiors were somewhere else.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
But yeah, King of Downey with Johnny Murillo and Chicano Hollywood. That's an amazing role, and I like that. I love that when I saw the cast list and all the roles that you could audition for, and I saw the role of Marcy. I'm like, oh my God, I want to audition for that role. Like that's the role I want, because I think it's important to tell these stories, and it's important to get Chicanos and any people of color, their work out there and be seen in these roles that are not your stereotypical roles. And in this particular role, Marcy, she's she grew up in the hood, but she got educated, and she's now a professional working mom. She's a mom who has a regular professional job. Yeah. But also she's got culture, she's got how she grew up, and there's all the lingo, the language, what they go through in the Chicano culture and their families and what they talk about. So the script is awesome because it brings all of that to light. But Marcy's character is similar to like women I know, right? Similar to women who kind of came up and educated themselves and now are trying to, live a solid life and be successful. So Marcy's character is awesome. I really enjoy it. It's funny, and it's a comedy. It's really funny. Jerry Garcia brings a lot of comedy to it, and Carissa B plays my daughter, and Max Castor plays my son, our young son, and then Chance Falcon plays our 18-year-old son. So Jay Valentino plays my brother.
Okay.
He plays my brother.
What a great cast. DJ. Yeah.
And Jay's a good actor. He does his content online.
Yeah, he's a talented dude. I've seen him.
Super talented, but when you watch him work, man, he's on point. Like he comes ready to rock and roll. Like he's off script. He knows his lines. He's got his moments. He doesn't even need a rehearsal. He's like ready to go. Wow.
That's impressive. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I'm like, can we run it a little bit? He's like, he's all ready to go.
That's awesome, man. I love that.
But it was great. Concrete's in it too. Concrete is in it. He plays Jerry Garcia's friend, Tanya Estrada.
Gosh, what a cast.
Yeah, it's great. Twixie plays my sister-in-law. Ashley Alvarez plays, what's her name? Bernadette.
Okay.
That we knew from high school. And in the script, and then let's see. Oh, Marco Para. He plays Jerry Garcia's or my husband's friend, and he's so funny. Oh my God, everybody, the whole cast is just amazing. I'm just so blessed to be a part of it. And there's 7 more episodes that we're going to film. Okay. We hope to film those pretty soon, and just crossing our fingers that this takes off because it's funny. I love it. Like, I showed it to all my family and they're like excited to see a show like this. It's a Chicano sitcom. That's
what we need. We're hungry for that kind of content.
Yes. And so I'm excited. I just feel so blessed to be a part of that too. And it's going to shine. It's going to shine. I just know it.
Yeah, I know. I believe it. No doubt. It's a no-brainer.
Yeah. It's a great cast. Great cast.
With King of Hollywood, Sonia is a King of Hollywood. King of Downey, is that we can't see it yet, right? It's still in production, right?
Yes. Well, we have the pilot episode filmed. That's the Sizzle pilot episode. So episode 1 is filmed. We're gonna film the other 7 episodes pretty soon. That's the plan. So I'm just crossing our fingers all of that works out. You can't see it just yet unless you have, private link.
Yeah.
But
they screened it at the event.
Yeah, we had it screening at the Chicano Hollywood Mixer. Johnny screened it at the Hollywood Mixer in December 1st, but I'm sure there's going to be other opportunities to see it. And then once it is available, I'm sure it's going to be, we'll announce like where you can see it, how you can stream it, where you can watch it. Want to definitely make it available for everybody to support and just be entertained, you know, like we want to see our people up on the screen. We want to laugh and like recognize ourselves. Like you want little girls to look up at the TV and or their devices and streaming platforms to say, oh, I like that show because I see someone that I want to be, or I see someone that looks like me and has my skin color, and, you know, something to be proud of. And I think that's what we do with this, like the whole King of Downey series. I mean, it's something I'm really proud of. So I just want to continue to watch it grow. And I pray and put it out in the universe that we continue to have this be accessible to everybody to watch.
Yeah, so. No doubt. So yeah, we did that little interview at the event, the Chicano Hollywood event, and you said something that was really profound for me and resonated. That I asked you, you know, what would you tell an aspiring, you know, quote unquote, aspiring actress to get in the business? And you said, first of all, you got to take that label off. You're not an aspiring, you are an actress. You got to own it. No, you got to believe it. And that's where you got to start, right?
Yeah, I had to do that early on in my career, and nobody told me that. It was just something I kind of felt like. I'll give you an example. I had a friend my friends from college, and you know, we all kept in touch. And then one of my friends posted and said a lot of my friends, you know, they all have their careers. They went into teaching or being an engineer or whatever. I went to Cal Poly San Luis Obispo, so it's a big engineering school, a lot of engineers.
Slow, yes.
So a lot of my friends are engineers now. But we had this like post that he had going, and then he was shouting out me and one of the other girls that I went to school with that were both actors. But he said on his post, he said, I want to, you know, shout out to aspiring actresses, you know, Sonia and Esmeralda. And then I said, whoa. I go, wait a minute. I go, I'm acting. I'm doing it. I'm auditioning. I'm filming. I'm on commercials. I'm on TV. I'm on film. Like, I'm not aspiring to anything. I'm doing it. And so I thought about it, and I'm like, you're a teacher. And I had this discussion with him. I'm like, you're a teacher, right? He goes, yeah. I'm like, you're not an aspiring teacher, are you? He goes, no, I teach. I go, exactly. Just because you're not a professor in Harvard or you don't have a Nobel Prize doesn't mean you're not a teacher. You do it every day, right? Yeah. I'm like, well, I'm an actor. I do it every day. Just because I'm not famous, I'm not rich, doesn't mean I'm aspiring. Right. I do it every day, so I'm an actor.
With your perspective from where you're sitting right now, I mean, how do you see the business opening up for not only like actresses, Latina actresses, but just in general for Latinos? What's your opinion on that? You know, what is it opening up? Is it kind of stagnant right now?
It's opening up. It's not opening up fast enough.
Okay.
And it's opening up and getting shut down. You know, it's like, oh, we'll let you in just for a little bit, but then we'll take it away. You know, like you think about the shows that come out and then they get canceled. You're like, dude, like we're making progress, you know? And so it's upsetting because we represent so much of the population, you know, in the US and in the world, but like in the US, like the, you know, and even in LA. But do you see equal numbers in representation on your screens and your streaming devices and your TV? Do you see those? No. Yeah. And so that's where it's completely disproportionate. And it's disproportionate to the images that we want to share with the world. You know, you don't want little girls to be like, oh, you know, I'm looking up to someone else because I don't see myself. I want to change my hair color and everything because I don't see myself up there. I have nothing to be proud of because I can't see it. Yeah. And so there's very few, like you can list very few, you know, successful shows or films exactly. that really represent, you know, just representation. Mm-hmm. And has it improved? Sure, but not enough, not fast enough. And I really think that we have a long way to go. I commend all of the filmmakers who are taking it upon themselves to create content on their own and get it out there, put it on YouTube and get the work out there. And I'm contributing to that as well. I'm writing, producing, and executive producing and acting. I'm creating content myself, again, because I want to be a part of the solution and push our work out there, get it out there so that, we can again, see more of ourselves represented. We have a long way to go though.
Yeah, no, good for you though. I think you're taking the bull by the horns, right? And you're, like you said, you want to be part of the solution and make your contribution, to open those doors. I love that, and last question, Sonia, what do you think about when it comes to getting into the business, right? And acting, it's important to have connections, correct? It's important, right? Do you think it's more important than talent? Or, I mean, because here's a scenario, say somebody has all the connections in the world, great network, great, he knows people, he or she, right? And but can't act a lick, right? can't audition, and is that person still going to get roles though? Because of who they know. I mean, bottom line, let's be, keep it 100, or.
I've witnessed myself, even in the Bay Area, I mean, it happens everywhere. Some of the most persistent people get the work.
Wow.
And not to say that they're not somewhat talented. It's, the people that are out there like pounding the pavement, like really, really persistent, kind of loud in your face, like, knocking on doors, because they're the ones that are like they're the ones that are trying to get seen. And then unfortunately, a lot of the talented actors who are about the craft, they're about the art. So they're not going to have, not everyone has the balance of having like the business mindset, because there's a business side of acting, right? Yes. You got to know how to manage that too. If you don't have somebody doing it for you, or you don't know how to do it yourself, then you got to work on the business side. You got to be organized. You got to have your ducks in a row. You have to, profiles, everything. Like, so it's a hard business, and there's a lot of administrative work that goes into being an actor too. If you're not on top of it and you're not developing relationships, you could be the most amazing actor and nobody's going to know because you're not persistent and you're out there. Like, you got to really want it, and you got to be persistent, and you got to keep working at it. And also just trying to get better too. I feel like, hopefully the people that are persistent also try to get better too. Yeah. They try to get better. But I have seen some questionable talent out there. I'm like, wait, how did, okay. But, wow. All right, props to you and whatever you did, but like somehow, yeah. But I mean, everybody's got their own path. Everybody's got their own journey. Everybody has their own way of experiencing their life and making mistakes. Like, I learn a lot from making mistakes, and I welcome that. I welcome mistakes so that I can learn from them and grow. And I would hope that some of those people would learn and grow from their mistakes, and become better actors eventually.
Oh, yeah, that's an interesting, question, right? I think, like you mentioned, I think you got to be able to, you got to have that persistence. Bottom line, you got to be right. No matter if you are good, if you are mediocre, whatever the case may be, you got to have that drive, right? First and foremost.
But it's also passion. I'm like right now, since I've been in LA, I surround myself with passionate actors, like passionate actors, not actors who aren't doing anything. Like, no, like anybody I surround myself with is someone who's really passionate about what they do. And we talk and we collaborate. I have people coming over to help me with self-tapes. I go over help with self-tapes. We're like collaborating, talking, giving each other notes, classmates. I take acting classes, and even though I've been acting for so long, I always take acting classes. And talking to my teacher, my peers, directors. I ask directors for, like, can you watch this? Give me some notes. How can I get better? What are your notes? You have to be passionate about it too. And I feel like I'm blessed that I've found a group of passionate actors that I'm surrounded myself with, and filmmakers, that it's keeping me going and keeping me polished and keeping me active and keeping me like practicing every single day. But surround yourself with passionate people. It doesn't have to be acting. They can be passionate about something else in their life, but someone who has that drive, because you are who you surround yourself with, right? 100. So make sure you're surrounding yourself with passionate people who can support your journey, or even just be there in as a friend in your journey too, and help you just by being that positive light in your life.
There it is. Ladies and gentlemen, go do what Sonia just told you to go do. Sonia, I want to thank you so much for taking the time, for being here with us. Before we go, where can the good people follow you, see your work? Go ahead and plug all your social media, websites, IMDb, whatever the case, whatever you'd like.
Well, check me out on IMDb. You can just look me up, Sonia Balcazar. I'm the only one on there with my last name. And also you can check me out on IG, Sonia, Sonia, Balcazar, Balcazar on IG. I also have a Facebook as well. You can follow my acting page there, and just follow my journey. I appreciate you all for just being here, supporting the journey, supporting everything that we do to be creative, and just give love and light to the world. I feel so blessed to be able to do this and to be a part of this. And thank you for having me on your show as well. I'm really grateful.
Don't mention it, Sonia. Yeah, I appreciate it. I learned so much from this conversation tonight. And, so yeah, Sonia, I want to definitely stay connected, and it's, hopefully maybe, we'll work in the future. And but yeah, I wish you nothing but the utmost success.
Thank you.
Beyond, and so thank you so much.
Thank you.
You are welcome. You are welcome. Ladies and gentlemen, there you have Sonia Balcazar. Go follow her, go check her out. You will not be disappointed. You will learn how to be an actor. You will learn how to perform, and so go give her a follow. Go check her out. Go check out her work, and stay tuned for The King of Downey and Broad Daylight and everything else she's got going on. She's executive producing. She's producing. She's writing. She's can't wait to see all what's forthcoming. So there you have Sonia. For Sonia Balcazar, I'm Double A. Thanking you for being here wherever you're tuning in from. If you're on Roku, if you're on YouTube, Social Nostra, IG, all the audio platforms. Thank you so much once again for being here. It's always an honor and a pleasure to be here. So don't forget to follow me on Instagram, rate and review on Apple Podcasts, and give me some feedback. I love the feedback. So for Sonia Balcazar, I'm Double A. Once again, see you guys next week on another episode of the Profile Pod here. And always remember, take it easy. Thanks again, Sonia.
Thank you.